tables back real quick.
Mine says it is live. So.
Yep. All right, cool. We're live now, yeah. Hey there, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Alien Investigations, a channel dedicated to the X-Files Collectible Card Game. I'm your host, Steven, and we're coming at you with the 16th, that's right, the 16th playtest for our upcoming fan-made expansion that covers the 5th season of the X-Files. Yes, and I've got two very gracious playtesters here who are going to be putting this 175 card expansion through the ringer to figure out if any of the cards that I conceived in the course of writing this expansion, are they serviceable? Are they mechanically sound? What needs to be changed? What text needs to be slightly modified in order to make this these card effects appropriate? Is the cost too high? Is the cost too low? These are the kind of things we're going to be looking at in the course of this playtest and all the playtests that are going to come hereafter. And we're not going to rest until we're absolutely certain we've left no stone unturned, because again, there are 175 cards in this expansion, so that's a lot of ground to cover. Am I right, gentlemen?
Yes,
It's a lot
absolutely.
of cards.
And before we go any further, let me take a moment to introduce my two gracious playtesters. Joining me from France is Guillaume, who, due to daylight savings time, is getting up even earlier than he normally does to help out with this. Guillaume, one of the most dedicated people when it comes to X-Files CCG. Guillaume, thank you so much for availing your time at such an early hour, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. When I proposed the game, I didn't realize that you guys had already switched to daylight saving time, so that's okay. I don't mind getting up early, so that's
Trust
fine.
me, there's a lot of people on this side of the pond who want to see that daylight savings time abolished. And joining us from Kentucky and donning one of our custom shirts that we put out there during FileFest 2023 is Jonathan Hagy. Jonathan, I love the shirt, my friend. I don't know if it's possible. Show him what's on the back.
Oh, wow.
Did we lose him?
You got
Oh,
it.
no, there he is.
Yeah?
Yep, there we go. Excellent.
Perfect.
Yes, you can see the names of all the key figures who were there at FileFest 2023. And who knows, Jonathan, if we decide to make it happen this year, maybe we'll have some shirts made again to mark the occasion. We'll see.
Oh, it's happening.
But
Happening.
it's happening one way or the other. But we're here to play X-Files CCG, and so we're not going to belabor it too long. But what I do want to let everyone know who's tuning in live is that this is going to work just like a normal game of X-Files CCG. Of course, we're going to be using a lot of the cards that are part of this new expansion. And so the game will end when one of these two players has identified their opponent's hidden X-File. And then, of course, we'll talk more about the cards that we saw and talk about what improvements can be made. And guys, I know from talking to both of you right before we went live that each of you has a very expansive deck pool for this matchup. You're using cards not just from this fan-made expansion, but some of the previous expansions that have come before. We've got the 1013 expansion, we've got the Scully expansion, the unreleased one, and of course, my previous labor of love, the first edition of the Season 4 expansion. You guys are using cards from all of those sets, and obviously the Premiere and Truth is Out There edition cards as well. So it's a big pool. I'm very curious to see not only what team of agents you guys have chosen, but also what cards you use to make up the decks that you're bringing for this matchup. And Guillaume, I think you have, I do have to point out that you have been involved in the majority of these playtests, actually. In fact, you have been in the last 3 playtests. So thank you again for putting in so much time to make sure that we're putting out very serviceable cards.
Yeah, you're welcome. And other people, please feel free to participate. Like, I'm sure people watching are sick of seeing me and would like to see other people play at some point. So
Well, I
Yeah,
just wanted to
Guillaume's getting
call out
tired
you
of beating
especially
me.
because of your dedication to the game, because it does seem to know no bounds. I mean, after all, you're playing at like 4 a.m., so I mean that says a lot. Jonathan, what were you about to say, sir?
I said, yeah, Guillaume's getting tired of beating me.
We do have about 10 playtesters involved in this process if anyone's interested. But yes, we've seen a lot of great games in the previous 15. And in all likelihood, we're going to maybe do about 15 more. I do want to make sure we are covering every card in the course of these playtests. So as soon as that's wrapped up, we'll do one final review. We'll do a print run on it to make sure, you know, like the cards look good in their printed form. And of course, sometimes whenever we do have cards printed off, we somehow manage to find a lot of mistakes at that point. So we'll do one test run. And then after that point, then we'll finally be able to put them out there for anyone who's interested in ordering. And speaking of ordering, I do want to point out that we do not make any Skrilla off of these cards. We make 0 scratch. So take that, mouse. Yeah. Anyway, so guys, I'm gonna head to the back and I'm gonna let you guys have at it. So do feel free to call upon me if you have any questions. Make sure, of course, to introduce your team of agents. Talk about some of the unique effects that some of these new agents have if you're using agents from the season 5 expansion. And for anyone who's tuning in, do feel free to throw out questions, comments in the live chat. Audience participation is always welcome. And one last thing, if you have not hit that subscribe button yet, please be sure to do so. A little support goes a long way from keeping this channel off life support. And with that, I'll head to the back. Have a good game, gentlemen.
Thank you. All right, so Jonathan, who are you playing with?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. All right, so I see Holly. All right, so the 3 gunmen and Holly Patton. Okay.
Yep, I didn't change my team from the last time we played. I just changed my deck to accommodate this team much better.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I actually like this team. You know, they generate a lot of res.
Yeah, 7
and,
res.
Yeah, and the things that they're good at, they're really good at. And to be honest, their combat's not great, but their health is good. So if you can, you know, get sites for what they're good at, and, come up with stuff to make up for their shortfalls in combat, they're a formidable team. They really are.
Yeah, and it's nice to have them played together because one of the big questions about the agent for this expansion was, are the gunmen together too strong of a team? So it's always good to be able to try them out. Well, I don't know if you saw the latest playtest, but I didn't change my deck from that game because it takes so long to build a deck that you know, I like to use it at least a second time before I take it apart. So
yeah, I took the deck that I played last time. I took out some of the stuff that either wasn't useful or just didn't use, and then I just added replacements primarily from the other expansions and from the commercial cards. You know, I like the way you put it last time. To be honest, it makes sense to build these decks in place tests like we would play a real game in a tournament or something. Because that's how it's going to be played. So it's a good idea to test in that way too. So that's kind of what I did with this one. I took those cards and just put more of the staples in, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's always good to play test in a real situation. Like if it was a real game, of course you'd have Langley, of course you'd have like your Forhickey and etc., your X. So it's good to test the season 5 cards in real condition. So my agents are, so I have Danny Pendrell, Detective Manners, Langley, Holly Patton, and Detective Lloyd Pennock. And so Lloyd Pennock is the one we don't have in common beside the pendulum manners, and his effect is that he has 2 tokens, and I can remove a token to search my deck for an observation card.
Okay.
Okay. So how do you want to decide who goes first?
Well, I have a quarter.
Okay. Tails.
Heads or tails?
Okay. Yes.
Tails it is.
Perfect. Okay. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Need to draw my free card. Okay, I'm going to generate my res, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 5. Puts me at 10. And I'll buy 1 card and pass it to you to sell and buy.
All right. I'm going to sell shotgun for 6. And ceremony for 5. That'll give me 11. It takes me to 16. And then actually I'm going to get crazy. I'm going to also go Chester Bone Heart for 5 more. And then I'm going to buy 4.
Okay, so how many do you have in total CPs? Because I cannot.
I know. Watch it out on my screen.
Okay.
17.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
17.
I don't know why it does that. I think it's just overhead line.
Well, I'll just ask whenever I need to check.
Yep, it's 17. And I pass it back.
All right, so no healing, no requisition. I'm going to send everyone to the field. And for case assignment, we are going to go investigate Fairfax County in Virginia. It costs 1. The prerequisite, it's either computer or evidence collection and motive or result. I'm pretty sure you're going to have the same site in your deck.
You said it's
computer, evidence collection, motive, or result.
okay. What is your total evidence collection and computer? I know you haven't picked who's going where or anything. I mean for everybody. You know, what's the total?
So I have 11 computer. And I have 8 evidence collection.
And that size is a 4 of either one, right?
It's 5.
5. Okay. Let's see. Hmm. Let's play one bluff.
Okay, so I'm going to send the whole team to the site.
Okay.
And I'll be using a computer. So as I said, I have 11 computer.
All right. My bluff is explosion.
Okay.
This card causes 1 point of damage to every agent in a team for each conspiracy cost card discarded from your hand up to a maximum of 3 points damage. X equals number of conspiracy cost cards discarded. It's 2 times. Anything you want?
Well, I don't know. Are you going to pay for it first? Like, I'm waiting to see if you're going to pay for it or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay for it. I'm doing. I'm going to discard 2 cards, so that's 4. Cost me 4. But since it was face down, it cost me 3. So that would deal 2 points of damage to everybody unless you negate it.
Okay, so at that point, I'm going to use Langley's token to negate the bluff.
Okay. All right. And that's a motive side, right?
Yes, motive or result.
I'm going to pay 6 and play the Manitou Fox's Prey.
Oh, no.
And you know what he does,
right? Yeah.
There's no long range. Short range is 6, and health is 8. And any angel wounded by the Manitou may not heal wounds until a healing card is played.
All right, so he has a health of 8.
That's correct.
Oh, that's too bad. I have 7 long range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I have 7 long range. So he lives to deal.
He gets to deal 6.
Yeah.
Ooh, deal 6 too. That's gonna have to be Langley.
Langley, okay. So,
yeah.
Well, I'm putting 5 tokens on him, and he's going to the hospital then, and he cannot heal until a healing card has been played on him.
The Manitou's not dead. So we get to do another round. Yeah.
Oh no, the Manitou, because the Manitou deals 6 during close range, but during close range I deal like
7. Oh, you killed
No.
me. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I forgot. I was thinking long range. It was close range. You're right. Well, that's a whole lot of stuff to play and still potentially not able to stop you from investigating that side.
Well, no, but without Langley there, like it's pretty crippling still. Okay, so far I still have 7 computer.
I really screwed that up. I should have played Manitou first and then played Explosion right side up. I completely jacked out of them. But Oh well.
Right. So no.
Yeah,
Other...
it looks like there's nothing else I can do.
Okay. So motive or result? Well, let's ask a motive question. Is your motive ideology?
Let's see. My motive is not ideology.
Okay.
Well, Stephen, you got your wish. You got adversaries first round.
Okay. And this one also.
Oh man, if I'd have done that right, that could have really bugged.
Well, I'm glad it turned out this way. Although I would have preferred Langley not go to the hospital, but oh well. Okay. Well,
yeah, that was rough. On the plus side, Guillaume, you did get a chance to use his negate effect before he went off to the ICU for what could be a good long while until a healing card comes up. Jonathan, kudos on that awesome combat play. It's going to be fun just editing that first one together. Guillaume, you know I'm going to be like asking you for like a clip from Shapes and stuff like that. Guillaume, let me ask you, did the way Jonathan answered that question, did it sound a lot like how I answer the questions whenever I say it's not?
Yes, I do that.
Yeah,
I thought you might have been taking a page out of my book.
I'm making fun of you.
Well done. By the way, before I went to the back, when I went to the back, I realized I forgot to also point out, do stick around after this game is over because we're going to do a slight encore playtest for a very specific card that is going to be a part of the second edition of the Season 4 expansion, a re-release of the previously released 040460 Season 4 expansion, in which we're going to be bringing a lot of new things to this re-release, or Redux, if you want to think of it in those terms, because that is the name of 2 of the X-Files episodes, right? So this re-release of the Season 4 expansion is going to include new color template, new graphics, extra promo card, some lot of new cards actually. So much in the spirit of the Truth Is Out There edition, which swapped out 30 of the premier cards for 30 new cards. We're going to be doing exactly the same thing with the Season 4 expansion. So you're going to see 15 new cards brought out for this re-release. So those who already do have a copy of the Season 4 expansion, the first edition, may feel inclined to at least want to get their hands on those 15 because, Guillaume, you know from already seeing the early drafts that these are going to be some pretty kick-ass cards.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the 15 cards that are being swapped out, they're still always going to be available when you order the first edition, but in my opinion, you're not going to miss them all that much. Trust me, the ones that are coming out with the re-release are way better. And as you'll see, we're going to be putting one of those cards through the ringer after this game. Carry on, gentlemen.
All right, so the site is discarded. And I have 8 cards, so I need to discard something. Yeah, I'm going to discard Blight because we've already seen it and we know it works.
Yeah, it's a great card.
Yes, it is.
I've only got 4, so I don't need to do anything.
All right, your turn.
I will freebie, and then I will generate 7 reds. And I will buy 4. Wow. And I pass it to you to buy.
Okay. I'm going to sell Quick Wag for 4 and the vending machine bomb from Fight the Future for 6. That's a total of 10, puts me at 15. And I'm going to do I'm going to buy 4 cards. And passing it back to you.
The first thing I'm going to do is pay 4 and play Hospital Crash Card. Just to put it out there. 3 tokens for that. And amazingly, I didn't draw a side.
Oh.
So I can't really do anything.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, I'm going to go to debrief. I got 8 cards. I'm going to discard 1.
And I have 9, so...
Yeah, that kind of sucks for both of us. I'm going to discard Frohike. And then I'll pass it to you.
I'm going to discard Sheriff Terror because you have enough sciences, and I'm going to discard Psychotherapist. Unfortunately, Steven, sorry. Because I know Steven wanted us to try to test that card, but yeah. All right, so I'm drawing my free card. I'm going to generate my 3 res. And I just drew hard evidence, so I'm going to play it now. I'm going to pay 2, and I will add 5 to my pool. That puts me at 14. And I will buy I'll buy 2 cards and passing it back to you.
Okay. I'm going to sell No One's So Paranoid for 5. Record of Atrocities 4. And Jose Chung for 4. It's 13 total. That takes me up to 21. And I will buy 5 cards.
Okay, so healing. Well, no healing. No requisition. Everyone stays in the field, and you are going to go investigate the Fairfield Zoo in Fairfield, Idaho. It costs 2, and it's observation or motive. Again, motive. So I'm hoping you don't have a second copy of Manitou.
And so what kind of question does it ask?
Motive and observation.
Motive and observation. No bluffs.
Okay, so I'm going to send everyone to investigate. It's observation 4+, and I have 7 observation. Oh, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 7 observations. So for now.
Stephen, can I play psychotherapist on this one? Not
Well, if you find someone to give you the right activator.
Specific, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that behavioral activator it makes sense. It makes like total sense. But yeah, you have to.
You don't have anybody behavioral, right?
No, it doesn't have and it doesn't have the curate behavioral anywhere. I think it's too bad you discarded the bluff from the Scully set that allows you to ignore activator requirements.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Looks like you got it.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, let's see if I have better luck this time. Is your...
You made the skill check, right? Okay.
Yes, 7, yeah.
Okay.
Is your motive survival?
I'm paying 8. I'm playing to deny everything.
Okay.
I can neither confirm nor deny that assumption.
That's too bad.
And that leaves me with 8 cards. And since you know I have psychotherapist, I'm going to discard that one.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to pay 4 to play a call for help. And I will search to my bureau deck for 1 event or witness card with the activator active. And I will play No One So Paranoid for free to negate your event.
All right. Looks like that's it.
Okay, so is your motive survival?
It's my motive survival. My motive is not survival.
Oh, yes, would have been excellent after that, but that still allows me to cross off some possibilities. I usually like to keep a call for help for like adversaries or something else, but yeah, if it still allows me to get a question. Okay. So the site is gone, and I have how many cards? I have 7 cards, but before we leave, I'm going to pay 2 to attach 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 to wow. Detective Pennock. And I now have 6 cards, and I'm passing. Well, passing
Okay.
it to
I just scored psychotherapist. I had 8. All right. I will draw my. And then I will generate my 7 red. Then before I do anything else, I will pay 5 and play deep.
Oh, come on.
I told you, I broke all this game. I'm going to make this interesting if I can. I'm going to.
Okay.
I got
okay.
abused the last game.
All right. So, what's your question?
Let's see. Is your affiliation government?
Okay, let's find out. No, it's not.
No, it's not. Okay. All right. We'll move on to there. Let's see.
Did you already buy your cards?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm deciding. I'm going to buy 4.
Okay. I'm going to sell Bitter Defeat for 4. Puts me at 15, and I'll buy 4 cards. And back to you.
This is the real reason I played Deep Throat. I still haven't gone inside. It's brutal, which I don't understand. I put a lot more in this deck.
Well, then you're forgiven for your Deep Throat. I agree. I understand.
Let's see. Don't want to do anything. Oh man, that doesn't help me yet. Yeah, I can't. I can't do anything at this point
Okay.
because I'm yet to draw a side.
All right, so I have 9 cards. So I'm going to discard Trust No One and No Trespassing, which is usually a reliable bluff, but you only have one FBI agent on your team tonight, so yeah, no point in keeping it.
I'm going to discard and gnaw the fire. The skinhead man.
Yeah, good. Get rid of all of those adversaries. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm sure that
Yeah, Steven won't be happy, but I am.
resistor served and familiar places because I don't have any to go get. And I'm good now.
All right, so I'm drawing my free card. I'm generating my res, which is now 4, thanks to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. Puts me at 8, and I will not be buying any cards.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm low on resource with Langley Gun, so I'm trying to keep as much as I can.
I'm gonna sell yesterday for 3. And buy 3. All right.
All right, so still no healing, unfortunately, no requisition. Everyone remains in the field, and for case assignment, we're going to the Mahan Propulsion Laboratory in Colston, Washington. It's computer and motive again. So in a way, it's good that I haven't guessed your motive yet, because I'm only drawing motive sides. So computer and motive, and I'm paying 2 for it.
No bluffs.
Okay, so everyone's going, and I have 7 computer.
Okay. I'm going to pay 8 and play darkness. And Prince of Darkness is a motive side activator. Agents Let's see, their subterfuge skill as their value in long range and close range. If an agent has a subterfuge skill, their value is 1. This adversary may use subterfuge combat cards. This card is free if played on a side to which the fallen ones is attached.
All right. So did you pay for the card?
I did.
Okay. Well, good thing I drew my second a call for help, which I'm going to pay for. And I will draw. And Stephen is like probably furious behind the screen. But Stephen, we will play out the combat still to test it out. But I'm drawing X, which is free thanks to a call for help, and I'm negating that one.
Nice.
So good news is I don't have any more call for help. So, and my X is gone as well, unless I have a second copy somewhere. But you know what? We can still.
That's a devastating card for cards that don't have subterfuge.
Yeah, because I don't have any subterfuge, so basically I would have dealt 4 damage in long range combat. So he would have still have a health of 2, and he would have dealt 6 damage to one of my agents. So let's say Pendrel, and then I would deal 3 damage to him in close range, killing him, but he would still deal 6 damage, and he would basically take out 2
agents.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it'd have been crushing.
Yeah.
All right, my man. Think about it.
Okay, so I'm still shuffling, and then so new motive question. Is your motive security?
My motive is not security.
Cannot get a good answer tonight.
I can't stop the investigation with adversaries and everything else.
Well, it's not for lack of trying, so.
Yeah, that's very true.
Okay. The side is gone, and I have 6 cards in my hand, so no discard.
I have a discard warning from LA. Okay. So over to me, I will draw my 1. And I will generate my 7. And I'm not going to buy anything.
Okay. I'm going to sell. Don't sell this one as well. No. I'm going to sell Michel Fazekas. Yeah. For 4. Puts me at 15. And I will buy 3 cards. Yes. I'll buy 3 cards.
All right.
And I'll pass it to you. Back to you.
All right. I will Of course, healing, no requisition. I'm finally moving everybody to.
Which means you have a site.
Fine.
Oh, no.
I'm going to pay $2 to play Metro Diner, Washington, D.C. It's computer 4 plus. Asks a result question.
It's a computer. Hold on. I need to do this carefully. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to play 2 bluffs on the side.
Okay. I'm sending. Let's see. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to burn a loyalty token to burn a bluff.
Okay. So which one do you want to?
The one on top.
Okay. So that was a sinus cavity implant.
The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pay 6 and play Nurse Owens and add a token back to Langley and a token from the other 2. And then I'm going to burn Langley's other token to burn that bluff.
All right. So that one was laser barrier.
Cool.
So how many resources do you have now?
1.
Okay.
Just 1. So everybody's going inside.
And you have more than enough computer, right?
Yeah, the computer is 3, 7, 10, 12.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, I'm still going to play this because, well, that's the only thing I can do. It probably won't stop the investigation, but at least it will make Steven happy, hopefully. So I'm going to pay 6 to play Now of the Vampire. So it's it has the activator of agent. So that's it. So the vampire is unaffected by long-range combat attacks. One opposing agent, my choice, is immediately incapacitated and unable to participate in the combat until the second round of close-range combat. So basically, I deal 0 long range, you deal 0. Well, you can deal your long range damage, but that does not affect the vampire. So we are moving to the first round of close range combat. I'm going to choose. What do I want to choose? I'm going to say that. No, I need to do this carefully. So I'm going to say that 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 cannot contribute to the first round of close range combat. And I'm also going to play a combat card. I'm going to pay 2 for it. It's Fascination. Play on an adversary to add 1 to its close range combat skill check. So that makes the vampire have a close range of 4 instead of 3. In addition, if the adversary is occult, the chosen agent in combat play on the chosen agent to negate his combat skill this round. So Fascination adds 1 to my close range, making it 4, and I'm going to choose Holy Pattern to not contribute to that round of combat as well. So that means that 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 and Holy Pattern cannot contribute to the close range, only Byers and Langley, so they deal 2 damage to the vampire.
Okay.
And the vampire is going to deal 4 damage to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬.
Okay. Yeah. Two in the hospital.
And for the next round, the 3 remaining agents all contribute. Byers 1, Langley 1, and Holy 2, unfortunately. So that's 4, making it enough to kill the vampire, but not before he deals 4 damage. And I'm going to... Well, let's do the 4 damage to Holly. That will send her to the hospital as well.
Okay.
And the vampire is dead, and he's going to the discard pile.
All right. It's crazy you can take out 2 agents and still make the skill check.
Yeah, I mean, even if I had managed to somehow take out a 3rd agent, you would still have been able to, like, Langley has 4 computer and Byers has his tokens to add to a computer. Oh no, Byers couldn't actually, because it's
Byers could do it by itself, but Holly has a computer too, so
yeah,
she'd be able to do it. Yeah.
So no, as I said, like your team is too strong in computer for me to be able to stop the investigation, but at least I really wanted to try to play at least 1 season 5 adversary, so.
Very nice. So let's see a result question. Well, let's go to the low-hanging fruit. Is your result death?
My result is not death.
Okay. All right. Let's see. That side is discarded. And I have 6, so I'm good.
And I have 4 with all the bluff, with the 2 bluffs and the 2 cards for the combat. Yeah, so only 4. Okay, so I'm going to draw my free card. What would be helpful? I'm going to generate my 4 res, and I will buy just 1 card and pass it to you to sell and buy.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I'm not going to buy or sell anything.
Okay. How many conspiracy points do you have?
0.
Okay.
You're wide open. This one, yeah, you're wide open.
And I only have 1 site in my hand. Well, that's good, but it's like in a situation
Right.
like I would want to have at least 2. But okay. Oh, so still no healing, etc. So we're going to go to the containment facility in Georgetown. It's observation 4+. I have 7 observation, I think, or maybe 6 now.
You got it. There's
Yeah.
there's nothing I can do. I don't have any speed to play anything. So.
All right, and it's a result question. Well, I'll ask death. Is your result death?
My result is not.
Yeah, I figured, but I mean, I'm getting no answers since the beginning of the game, so I figure at least even if I get a no on death, that will still allow me to cross off many possibilities.
Well, I did not pick my X-File based on what was least likely to be picked. I picked it randomly. It could have been.
Yeah, I do that too because, you know, if you try to choose based on the characteristic, you're like, okay, he might ask me that, but then maybe this time he might not ask death as the first question. So you can drive yourself crazy trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I like to just pick them randomly.
And sometimes it takes so long to try to come up with a good team, to come up with your deck. I don't want choosing the X-File to be a chore. So, okay. So that site is going to the discard pile. I have 5 cards in my hand, and before the end of my turn, I'm going to use one of Manus' token to search my bureau deck for witness.
Okay.
Where are you? Hold on. Maybe I did not include the card that I wanted to retrieve, which would be unfortunate.
Well, worst comes to worst, you can always pick another witness.
Yeah. All right. But my idea was to retrieve the thinker, and I did not include the thinker. So, yeah. I'll just add someone else. It's fine. Yeah, I will add Esther Nern, aka 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, to my hand, shuffling my deck and passing it to you to start your turn.
All right. I'll draw mine.
Even with those 2 agents, you still generate as much res as I do with 4 agents.
Yeah, you can rate 4. Which takes me up to 5. Then I will move to healing. I'm sorry. I'm skipping. Let's see. I'm not going to buy anything. So I'll send it to you to buy that.
So I will sell. I will sell the shotgun for 6 and Esther 𝐗-𝐼𝐥e𝐬 for 3. That's it. Oh, and I do need other cards. I'll sell Wayne Morgan as well. Okay, so that's a total of 12. Puts me at 16. And with that, I will be buying. I'll buy 5 cards. And back to you.
All right, healing. I'll heal 1 from each.
𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 heals 2.
2, sorry. And then, before going any further, I will heal 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬's last 2 with my hospital crash card tokens, and 1 from Holly, a 3rd token. And then discard the crash card. No requisitions. And then I will bring 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 out of the hospital for deployment. And Holly come out with 1 damage to stay till it's over. She's you have to have
Holly has to stay until she's fully healed.
fully healed. Okay. Then And then I will pay 1 to play Farming, New Mexico. It's Alien Investigation 5+, or Computer 5+. And it's a motive or a method question.
Motive and method, right?
Motive or method, correct.
Okay. How many resources do you have?
4.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so no bluffs.
Bluff. I'm sending all 3.
So, which question are you? Which skill are you going to use?
I think I'll use computer. I mean, they could do it, but I got more computer than alien investigation, so I'll use computer.
All right, so I'm going to. It's motive, right?
Yes, motive or method.
All right, so I'm going to pay 8 to play Prince of Darkness.
Okay. I'm going to pay 3
Like
to play X that I've been holding on to forever.
if you had only two resources, I would have been more confident. But I'm like, well, I need to play something, so I might as well. And I had a combat card to go with him too. Too bad.
Oh man, maybe I should have waited.
Yeah. Well, Steven, too bad. See, Steven, we both tried. And well, that's it. You're free to ask your question.
All right. A motive or a method? But we did motive, right?
Oh, you can. I used motive to play the adversary, but you can use.
Let's see
what you like.
I don't think I've asked you one. So let's see. Is your motive ideology?
My motive is not ideology.
Okay. 15 left. I've got 5 cards, so I'm good from that perspective.
And I have 7, so no discard for me either. Okay. So I'm going to draw my free card. I'm going to generate my 4 res at 9. And I will buy two cards and pass it to you to sell and buy.
Nothing to sell and buy.
Okay. How many conspiracy do you have?
Still 0. It's bad.
Okay. Well, I'm going to, and this time I don't have any site in my hand, but I'm going to use one of Penox tokens to search my bureau deck for any one keyword observation card. Okay, so which one am I going to choose? Oh, let's do this one. Okay. Okay. So I drew Max Phoenix trailer. I'm going to add that to my hand. I forget which phase we're in, but basically, like, since I still cannot heal Langley, everyone stays in the field, so I'm going to go to deployment, play Max Phoenix trailer, pay 1 for it, and it's evidence collection or observation, and I will be using evidence collection, which I have 6 evidence
I can do that.
Yeah. So it's an affiliation or motive. So which one will allow me to cross off most possibilities? Is your motive knowledge?
My motive is not knowledge.
I'm not even surprised.
I'd still getting a little down.
Oh yeah.
How many have you got me to?
I'll tell you in a second. I have you down to 4.
Oh, well, see, that's pretty impressive. I got you to 15. So.
And I will not be asking an identity question, and the site is discarded. And I have I have 10 cards, so I need to discard. Well, first I'm going to pay 2 to play Sharon Graphia. She's a resource witness, so I might as well play her. She adds 1 to 1 team's observation skill check once per turn, and when one of your agents is the target of an abduction, Sharon Graphia is abducted instead. Which I figure I have observation, and since it's season 5 and there are a lot of abduction cards, I figured it should be a good witness to have. So I'm putting her in play, and I still need to discard 2 other cards. And I'm also discarding Maintain Deniability and Sheriff Daniels because you have enough subterfuge to counter him. And I now have 7 cards.
Okay. I got 5, so I'm good.
Okay.
So I'll draw my free. And I'll generate my 6 red. And then I will, let's see. I'll buy 3 cards.
All right. So you have 4 res now, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to sell the Glock 19 for 4, Alien Stiletto for 5, and 2 deluxe video cameras for 5 each. So that's 19. Puts me at 22. It just goes to show that you can shuffle and shuffle, and then somehow in 2 turns, like I drew all of those equipments. And I will buy. I'll buy 6 cards and passing it back to you.
Okay. Holly will heal her last point of damage. No requisition. I will bring her out of the hospital to join the gym. And everybody will be in the field. And then I'll pay 1 to play Bond Hill Roll Maryland. Alien Investigation 5 plus or negative 5. And ask an affiliation or method question.
So it's Alien Investigation, and what is the other one?
Medical.
Okay. Affiliation and method. Okay.
That's correct.
I have one bluff for that site.
Okay, I'm sending.
Sorry? Let's
I'm
make it
sending
two bluff.
everyone to it.
Okay.
Let's see that bluff.
So the first bluff is communist calling cards. I'm not going to pay for that one. And the second one is manipulating the circumstances. It costs 4, but it's 3 since it was face down. Play this card to provide the keywords necessary to play any one adversary. Additionally, the adversary's cost is halved.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to pay 5 to play the Dark Angel. It has the keyword adversary, occult, creature, phenomena, and master. And the activator is affiliation site, which you already were affiliation site, but manipulating the circumstances allowed me to pay the card for 5 instead of 10. So even with the cost of the bluff, that was still cheaper.
Okay. What's his damage? I don't remember off the top of my head.
It's 5 long range and 8 close range and 10 health.
All right. 5 long range. And his health is.
So so you cannot negate him? Negate it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Right. So yeah. So for long range, you deal.
My long range is.
You deal 5 damage.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yes.
All right, so 5 damage. So that brings the Dark Angel's health to 5. And the Dark Angel will inflict 5 damage to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬.
Okay.
And then for close range, before we play close range, I will play a combat card, Aura of Invulnerability. It costs 2, but the Dark Angel's game effect is that combat card may be played for 1 CP less, so I'm going to pay 1 for it. And play on any occult adversary to reduce damage from all opponent long-range or close-range combat sources by 1 for this round. So for the first close-range combat round, I will deduce 1 from each of the agent's damage. So Bios is 1, so he deals 0. Langley deals 0. And Holly is 2, so she deals 1. So the Dark Angel receives 1 damage. He still has a health of 4. And he deals 8 close range to Holy Patton.
Okay.
And then for the second close range, Bios and Langley deal 2 damage. The Dark Angel still has a health of 2, and he deals 8 damage to Langley. And then basically Bios deals 1 damage for the last round of combat. The Dark Angel still has 1 health, and he deals 8 damage to Bios.
Well, that was brutal.
Yeah, it's it's the first time that I've actually played that card because, well, it costs 10, so like it really hurts you if your opponent negates that card after you spend 10 CPs.
Well, I think that's the end of combat.
Yeah, and in addition to the combat card, that. Okay.
So that site will not be investigated.
For debriefing, I have 5 cards in my hand.
I've got 8. I'm gonna have to discard Steno for
Okay, so I'm going to draw my free card. I'll generate my 4 res. Puts me at 8. And I'll buy 2 cards.
I'm gonna buy, or sell rather, Secrets of a Navajo People and Manhattan Ocean Laboratory. And as much as I hate in this instance, I'd frog.
Oh,
It'll give me 5. And I'm not any.
So how many conspiracy points do you have?
5.
Okay. Okay, so still no healing, no requisition. I'm going to use Pennock's last token to look at my deck because I still didn't draw a site. Has to be an it has to be an observation card, but no. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I need to add the site to my hand first. We'll go. Okay. So we'll go investigate Max Phoenix trailer again. I'm going to pay 1 for it. And I'm going to shuffle my deck. And well, I'm going to tip my hand a little bit, but Steven, I have a question for Steven.
I'm here, Guillaume. Fire away.
All right, so you know how much I want to play the all lie leads to the truth. So
you know how much I want you to play that card?
Yeah, so it has to be a single agent and a single witness, correct? Not 2 witnesses.
Yeah, you have to have an agent at the site in order to investigate it.
Yeah, but if I only send 1 agent, can 2 witnesses contribute and I still get to play or lie lead to the truth, or it has to be only 1 witness that contributes?
No, yeah, I mean, after you think I you know just as well as I do how much or how little space there is on that card, but if I put the word at least and at least a witness or somewhere like at least a witness contributed to the skill check, no, like it can be, yeah, I would think it would be fine if you used 2, and we can try to squeeze that in there.
Okay. Well, it just says a witness, so it doesn't say only a single witness.
Yeah, it doesn't say like only 1 witness or something along those lines. But yeah, at least, or we could say at least 1 witness contributed, or something if you feel it's necessary. But yeah, you have a single agent, you investigate the site successfully. A witness contributed to the skill check itself. Fine by me. Checks off all the boxes if you pull that
but
off.
you know what? Unfortunately, even with 2 witnesses, I only had a multi-site, so it's the prerequisite is 5+. So if it had been a mono site, I would have been able to do that. But my agents have observation 2 at most, so I would need to have the Sharon Graphia witness and another witness, but a witness that contributes more than 1, and I don't have that, unfortunately.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Good try though.
Yeah, it is in my hand.
Okay. Yeah, as I know, it's in Jonathan's deck as well. All right.
Okay, so Max Phoenix trailer, evidence collection or observation? Let's go with observation. Oh no, I don't need to declare that immediately. So it's evidence collection, observation, affiliation, and motive. And I wait any bluffs that you may have.
1 bluff.
Okay. So I'm going to send everyone to the site, and I will be using observation. I currently have 7 observation. Yes. So let's see the bluff. Well, I have 8 thanks to Sharon Graphia.
Okay. It is. This is not happening. Force an opponent to discard 3 cards from his hand at random. It's 4, 3 face down, and I am going to.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play Langley because I like the cards that I have in my hand.
Okay.
And you know what? Even if I don't play Langley, and then you force me, one of the cards that I discard ends up being Langley, I might as well play Langley to stop that from happening.
Absolutely. All right. That's it from me.
Okay, so it's affiliation or motive again. Well, now I know your motive, so there's no point. After asking 4 wrong questions, I finally know your motive by process of elimination. So I might as well ask an affiliation question, and well, I have 1 alien, 1 government, 2 primordial. So is your affiliation primordial?
No, it is not.
Okay. So
I got me down.
I have you down to 2. And it's so frustrating that I cannot play the all lie leads to the truth card, because I could have asked you an identity question without incurring a penalty question. Plus, I could have searched my bureau deck for a keyword healing card and played for free, which I desperately need for Langley. But
Well, at this point, you can ask an identity question with the penalty and either win or know what my X-File is.
yeah, that is true. That is true. Let's. Yeah, you know what? I might as well ask. Because I still need to investigate a site, and then I still need to draw a site first. So, yeah. Are you .com?
I am.
Oh, okay.
Nailed it.
Well, yeah, I was going to say Ed Funch, and then at the last moment, it's like, okay, I don't know, Alien.
Very nice.
And
Very
congrats on the win there, Guillaume. And thank you guys again for participating in this playtest. Well, we certainly saw a lot of sites from the Season 5 expansion get played. So those certainly got a stress test if nothing else did. No, I'm just kidding. You guys actually, you played some good adversaries. You got the Gnaw of the Vampire out there.
Yeah.
And again, thank you for talking out how that would have gone, or you did that with Prince of Darkness as well.
Darkness.
So yeah, there were a lot of adversaries that got played in the course of this, but just so happens that most of the ones from season 5's upcoming expansion were negated, and a lot of the commercially released ones certainly saw some awesome plays, most especially the Dark Angel Guillaume, that the combat card, Aura of Invulnerability. We never see that played in just a regular classic game. And to say nothing about the Fascination card, that one's a pretty good card. Doesn't come up very often. I mean, unless you're limiting your deck to occult adversaries,
which I
seem to have done tonight, because that's pretty much all we saw tonight. I don't think we saw. Did we see any adversary that wasn't occult tonight? I don't think so. But it was still made for some great gameplay. Jonathan, man who stalks its prey, coming right out of the gate, and you crippled Guillaume throughout the whole game with that one play. Because Guillaume, I'm going to take a guess and say you didn't have any healing cards in hand, right?
Well, I did have healing card. I know that I.
Oh, Guillaume, you must be muted. Oh, sorry. I think your table was your table. Your
no.
I think your table might have been your mic.
No,
was it?
No, my mic is my. No, Jonathan, you can hear me, right?
Jonathan,
yes.
Are you good? Oh, suddenly I can't hear any. Oh, you know what? Sorry, it's me. Somehow I tapped the mute button on you guys. Sorry, Guillaume, what were you saying?
So yeah, in my deck I had the Fathom 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 card, but the one thing that I kicked myself, well, in the end it did not matter, but I could have used one of Manus's token to search for Jeremiah Smith, but I wanted to do that afterwards. But when I searched my deck at some other point, Jeremiah Smith had to be played on an agent in the field, so I would have had to do it immediately after combat. So yeah, I didn't have Langley, so I only had the 4 agents. As for the adversaries, I only included occult adversaries in my deck because there are quite a lot of occult adversaries in season 5, which is why I did that. And
there certainly are.
One of the cards that I really wanted to play but couldn't because Jonathan still had the 4-key token, and I did not want him to negate it, but I had the handy for that. And I really wanted to use it for, like, the only adversaries remaining in my deck at this point was Chinga's play.
I was waiting for that one to come out, considering I noticed you guys had went heavy on the occult adversaries. And I did originally, I titled this episode Trial by Chinga. And as I said, this is just the game of negate, because the negate effect works pretty well, doesn't it? As we both found, as we all found out tonight. Jonathan, how does it feel that your son's rooting for Guillaume instead of you?
Well, you know, you just get what you can, yes.
Oh,
wins a lot, you know.
Oh, he does. Yeah.
Better off.
Yeah. And he's one of my more formidable opponents, and he always gives me a run for my money and during my games. So I know the feeling. But yes, we're not done with playtesting though, because we have one little encore playtest we want to get out. So guys, I hope you didn't start disassembling your decks, because we're gonna need them.
I was going to, but then I remember that I shouldn't do that yet. So I still have the remaining of my bureau deck intact. Excellent,
because that's what we're going to need. Well, your agents too. Keep them out, because we're going to see how they stand the test. Let's say, I know your agents already went through the ringer tonight, but let's say they're all on the field, no one's injured. Remove all those damage tokens, those many damage tokens that we saw in the course of this game.
I could not get print. I don't know what the issue was.
Yeah, so that was man, the combat was heavy tonight, which is fine, because we've seen games where there's no combat, but this was quite the opposite tonight. So,
and I think it's also another instance of even though the adversary manages to send at least one agent to the hospital, it's the combat card that allows you to send that extra agent or to live for that extra round of combat. Like, for the Now of the Vampire, I'm not sure I would have been able to send 2 agents to the hospital without that combat card.
Yeah, and the fascination card really helped out, and of course the aura and vulnerability, I think, kept your Dark Angel in there for at least one more round of close range. So you're able to really just take out Jonathan's whole team with that. So man, that was some great plays.
That allowed my whole team to get obliterated.
Yeah, it's great stuff that we'd love to see from a viewer standpoint. So I appreciate you enduring all those punishing blows there, Jonathan. Okay, so as I said, we got a little bit of an encore playtest. It's not going to take very long because we're just going to test out a card that's going to be coming up in the re-release of the 040460 Season 4 expansion. This is one of 15 new original cards that are going to be coming out with this second edition of the Season 4 expansion, and it's an adversary card, actually. So it's worth trying out because, like every card that we're releasing, we want to give it a chance to be play tested just to make sure the effect is sound, but also whether or not the cost is appropriate. And sometimes one of the more one of the aspects of developing these cards is we often find ourselves hemming and hawing over card cost, and you can go round and round and round trying to come up with what is suitable, and you have an array of commercially released cards, over 500, that you can refer to for guidance, but sometimes the cost of those cards is not as consistent as we'd like it to be, especially when we're looking at adversaries, especially when we have like an overpriced bounty hunter that gets destroyed in long range before it even has a chance to attack, versus a very inexpensive Joseph Patnick who can wipe out a whole team for the low cost of 4 CP. It is very hard to try to figure out the appropriate cost of an adversary card. So what we're going to try to do to address any dissenting concerns about this particular one that we're going to be releasing, we're going to try out a few tests of this one and see how it stacks, and then we'll see what seems like an appropriate cost for it. So I'm going to share the screen real quick because we don't have the printout of it, but just bear with me one moment. It should be available if I can find it. I'm hoping it's right there. How do I get it to share? It's on Disc. I just had it on Discord. Oh, there it is.
I tried to print it, but I couldn't do it from there.
There we go. So this is the adversary that is going to be included in the re-release of the Season 4 expansion. So this one is from the episode Demons, and it's an effect that we have. I mean, it is unique. A little bit inspired by the pusher card from the unreleased Scully expansion to some extent, in terms of the mechanic in which the player who's going to play this card is going to flip over the next card in their bureau deck, and depending on what cost emblem is on that card, that's going to dictate how the damage gets allocated or not, depending on what card comes up. Let me just read off the effect here for everyone who cannot read that very small text. But this adversary, titled Trepannin Operative, states, choose one agent on the opposing team. Your opponent must flip over and discard the top card from their bureau deck. If the card has a conspiracy cost, the target agent inflicts damage on another agent equal to the cost of the card. If the card has a resource cost, the target agent receives the damage equal to the cost of the card. So either they're going to be inflicting that damage on another agent on the team, or they're going to be inflicting it upon themselves. So one way or the other, an agent's getting hurt. And if the card has a purple cost emblem, then the combat just ends immediately. And Guillaume, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I know that we don't have much room left on the card, but I think we should probably say who chooses which agent receives the damage, in case, you know, it says inflicts damage on another agent, and usually it's like your choice or opponent's choice or something.
That's true. I mean, generally speaking, when we're doing a combat, the conspiracy player chooses how the damage gets assigned. So as a general rule of playing adversaries, doesn't hurt to state it here if we can somehow find a little bit of room on that card. But as you can see, text is heavy, but
it's just some.
Yes. That is a good point.
Reduce,
yeah, generally
just,
speaking, we do this. Oh,
yeah.
go ahead, Gim.
Yeah,
generally speaking, the conspiracy player assigns the damage, or they choose the target of that receives the damage, as we saw many times in tonight's playtest. But yes, that's a fair point. Go ahead, Guillaume.
Yeah, no, I was going to say we can just decrease the size of the quote, and I think that should allow for the just parenthesis your choice. And I think, yeah, as you said, it's usually the way it's played out, but we don't want people to say, well, it doesn't say so. So I get to choose which agent, and then you choose an agent with a health of 3. That's not important to the investigation.
Couldn't hurt. And yeah, I might actually look at changing the quote on that to maybe fit the image a little better. Maybe. It just seemed like a great quote from that episode. Still kind of applicable to the effect to some degree. But yeah, we can look at that one as well. What's that?
What's the quote say? I can't read it.
Oh, it's from the scene in the climax of the episode in which Mulder and Scully are in that summer house, and Mulder is pointing his gun at her at that point because he's under he's suffering from hallucinations as a result of the little hole that got drilled in his head, and so it's looking as very well like he might shoot his partner. But also in the course of the episode, other victims of this wayward doctor resulted to suicide through self-inflicted gunshot wounds as a result, again, of the drugs that they were suffering from. So again, that's kind of where the effect is inspired by. Either the agent suffering from this effect is either going to inflict the damage on themselves, or, as we nearly saw at the end of the episode, upon another person. So but hey, there's always a chance a promo card could come up that might get out of this jam, because we do use promo cards a lot, and also combat cards. We saw no shortage of combat cards, and frequently those have a purple cost emblem as well. So Guillaume, let's put you in the role of the conspiracy player for this first portion, and so Jonathan, that means your agent team is going to be dealing with the brunt of this adversary. So let me bring in your table, Jonathan, and I'm going to bring that one to the fore here. So I'll move this one back, and we've got Jonathan's table on screen here. Oops, I meant to bring. There we go. All right, Jonathan. So you got your deck in hand there.
Got it.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to flip over the top card in your bureau deck, and as I said, we're going to be looking at the cost of the card to see how the damage gets assigned. And, you've been sightless throughout most of the playtests, and of course, now a sight comes up, and it looks to be...
only the first 2 turns. Only the first 2 turns. After that, I have shots.
And so that's, I believe, Mayhem Propulsion Lab, right? And so that's a mono, right? So that's going to cost 2, and so in that case, because it has an RP cost, your agent well, actually, Guillaume, I'm sorry, I didn't give you a chance to pick out what agent was gonna be the target of the Trepanning operatives attack. Who are you gonna pick, Guillaume?
They would need this would be a side that's being investigated, obviously, already, right? They'd all be on site. So
yeah.
Let's assume they're all at the site. Yes, yeah.
So I would, for just 2 damage.
Who would you have picked originally? I'm sorry, I didn't even give you a chance to pick out which agent's the target.
I would have chosen, probably to be safe, because Frohiki. I would have said Frohiki. He has a health of 4 compared to the health of 5 of the other 2. So yeah.
And of course, your decision also would have been depending upon what site Jonathan was investigating. Of course, But then again, because we don't know what the cost of the car is, it's a toss-up, so you might be thinking, well, I need to assign damage to that particular agent, but there's a chance that damage might not go the way you want it to, depending on the cost of the card. So, yeah. So in this case, you would have assigned 2 damage to which agent, Guillaume?
To Frohiki.
Okay. And so obviously with Frohiki at his full health there, that would not have been enough to send him to the hospital. So he would have had 2... so Frohiki would have inflicted 2 points of damage onto himself. Combat is over. Card gets discarded. Team still standing. So that was flip number 1.
That's kind of weak.
But as you pointed out earlier,
one more time.
Yeah, so we're going to do it several times. We're doing it several times. But I did want to point out, Jonathan, you made a great point today about how a typical bureau deck is composed anywhere from between like 20 to 30% sites. And sites either cost 1 resource point or 2 resource points. So there's a pretty good chance sites are going to come up, as surely was the case this time. So, yeah. All right, let's do it again. Flip over the next one.
What is the activator on that?
Oh, it's a result site as well. So, yeah, let's say every time this playtest happens, it's a result site you're investigating.
Let me just be, really, as we should be. I'm going to have a result site here. We're all investigating it.
And it's sciences.
It's sciences, yes.
All right, good stuff.
So we'll go from there.
All right, very good. So let's flip over. So Guillaume has played that adversary. It's been activated by the result keyword on your site. And so we're entering combat. Before you flip the card, though, I guess, so we probably should say, Guillaume, who is your target agent? Because you have to do that before the card is flipped, right?
Well, you know what? Yes. So this time, let's
say agent on the opposing team. That's the very first thing on the text. Yeah.
So let's say it's Langley this time.
All right.
Okay. Deny everything. That's 8 conspiracy.
Ooh.
So somebody's gone.
And so, Guillaume, how would you have played this out?
Well, it's what's the prerequisite again?
Conspiracy.
Yeah,
somebody other than Langley. Pick Langley.
Right, and it's science is 4 or 5.
Science is 4.
Okay.
Which I just barely make.
So yeah, so Langley would be so I would say
would want to take one.
I would put the damage on Byers then.
Because she doesn't contribute.
I would put the damage on Byers then.
Right on. And so Byers gets sent to the hospital. Do you have enough sciences to finish that investigation, Jonathan?
No. Byers is the biggest sciences guy, I think.
All right. So investigation was failed in that second flip.
Yep.
It was successful in the first one. So let's say it's 1-1 at this point. We're kind of looking for an average. Let's do it again. All right. So Byers is back on the field. Let's just say we're investigating that site. You just went heavy on sciences sites and science results site for some reason, Jonathan. All right. Guillaume's played the card. Guillaume, which agent are you choosing? You're going to I probably would go the same way again, I imagine, right?
Well, since science here, I would say I'm targeting Byers.
Okay.
Okay. So this time, it's a site. 1.
And again, 1 point of damage on that one. So flip number 3 only results in 1 point of damage. And because it's a resource card, it's getting inflicted upon Byers himself. He's got, 5 health. So it's a flesh wound in this case. All right. So 1 damage, agent still standing. So that's 2 instances where the agent received fairly minimal damage and 1 instance where the agent was sent to the hospital and the site investigation was failed.
And 2 instances where the site would still be investigated. 1 where it would not.
Excellent. Good deal. Okay. Let's do it again. Who are you targeting? Still Byers or are you changing it up?
Well, still Byers. It makes the most sense.
Byers. This one's a good one, but I don't think it's going to get there. Hospital crash card.
Oh, but that's worth 4. So
four.
not,
Ours will get all four, but it's not. It will send you to the hospital.
Yeah.
But had it been frozen,
Yeah.
it would have.
yeah.
And that would have stopped the investigation of the site because that would have gotten rid of.
Yep. So that is worth noting, is that just because like when the conspiracy player is picking an agent before the card is flipped, there is a gamble in and of that, because there may be like one particular agent for whom the investigation is righted upon. Let's say you got Mulder at an alien investigation site, and he's the one you want to take out. So that does become a question of, do you pick Mulder or do you pick someone else who can maybe take out Mulder? But it's not quite 50-50. It's kind of close to that.
Shot of
Getting on the deck.
And not even, that doesn't even take into account how much you might. So
yeah. So we've had 3 instances where the site, where the agent is still standing and the site is successfully investigated, and only so far 1 instance in which an agent's hospitalized and the site has failed. One more time, and then we'll flip it around and give Guillaume a chance. How about that?
Sounds good.
Right, so let's pick 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 this time.
𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. Okay. This time we have X.
Okay.
That's 3.
The one you would have needed to get out of the scam.
Yeah. That's 3 that will be inflicted on 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬.
Yeah, but still not enough to stop the
Still
investigation.
not enough.
Yep.
It will
okay. 3 damage.
Holly
Still standing.
to the hospital, but it wouldn't have stopped the investigation because in this case, she doesn't contribute sciences.
Right. But again, since it's a resource card, it's inflicted upon the target agent. So yeah. So you're at the mercy of like, the agent you choose. You know, like even if you get a card that has a decent amount of cost, depending on its cost emblem, you may not be able to get the agent that you want. All right. So
now, one thing to remember too, you are causing that card that's being flipped over to be permanent. So you're getting that out of it.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yes, that is one benefit from the card, is that you also force your opponent to discard 1 card from their deck.
Yes.
Yep. Yes. But as we know from such cards as dissolving evidence and deceiving the flock, to do that only costs 1 CP, and if either bluff is face down, it's 0 cost. So discarding 1 card is a fairly inexpensive conspiracy point. So, but yes, that was considered when coming up with the 5 cost for this adversary. And then the remaining part of that cost, just when you're trying to figure out, okay, like what comparing the amount of damage you're likely or in this case on average to get as a result of this, because obviously if it was an adversary that was going to send multiple agents to the hospital, the cost of that card would be pretty high, Patnick being the one exception. But an adversary that is relatively low in its combat skills, who may only send 1 agent possibly, is going to be fairly low to medium cost, depending on what it can do. All right, so we're flipping this around. Guillaume, I'm going to bring your table back in this time. So we're going to get your agents on the map. And you got your bureau deck handy, I assume. Let's put that one in the main area there. And we'll take Jonathan's out. All right, so where did it go? All right.
All
right, bring it back. All right, but now everyone's disappeared for some reason. What is going on here? All right, let's hit it, Guillaume. All right, so we've got 5 agents investigating a site, and it looks like it's an observation 4 prerequisite needed for that.
So maybe it would be good if I remove at least 1 agent, because otherwise, it's observation 4. I have 8, so
that's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, that's a likely situation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I say keep them all in there, because I mean, invariably when you have invariably we tend to send on average full teams to a
Yeah.
site as opposed to divvying them up. So yeah, I feel this is good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
All right,
have
so
8
do tell Jonathan about their observation skills, so he has a sense what agent he might want to target.
Well, let's do it this way. These three agents each have 2 observation, and Holly and Langley have 1.
Okay.
So Pendrell 2, -2, Pennock 2, and the other one is 1.
Okay.
And also Manners has only a health of 3. Pendrell and Pennock have 4. And Langley's and Patton's health.
So which agent you want to target, Jonathan?
What's the one in between Pendrell and Manners? What's his name? Can't think of his name.
Detective Pennock.
Panic. Yeah.
All right, so he's your target. All right, let's flip over that card game.
It's the vending machine bomb from Fight the Future.
Oof. Nice. That's what, 6
damage.
Very nice.
Gone.
Yeah.
And that's a conspiracy card, so you're targeting which agent? No,
that's a
it's
resource.
not a conspiracy card. It's equipment.
Resource.
So Pennock is taken out in that
he's
one.
out.
All right. So we have in the 6th one. So we've had an agent hospitalized. However, site still investigated successfully as a result of that very strong team.
And that doesn't mean adversary is not worth using. We saw that a lot tonight. You take out two agent cases and still investigate the site.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also you're getting rid of one agent. Let's say you previously played, or you will then play a bluff like laser barrier or something else that will, or maybe just removing that one agent will allow you to play a bluff like Sheriff Daniels, for instance, which you could not have played earlier because that agent contributed to subterfuge.
Right.
Yep. So not a total loss, depending on, or I'm sorry, not a complete fail on Jonathan's part if he had some other cards in his hand to be able to play. Of course, yeah. All right, let's do it again. So again, your team's all investigating that observation site. They've got plenty of observation amongst them. All right, what card you got, Guillaume? Oh yeah, same guy. Detective Pennock is the target.
Mm-hmm.
All lies lead to the truth. So he
All right.
receives 2 damage.
2 damage on Pennock in that case.
Yes.
So he's still standing, and obviously the site continues provided Jonathan has no other cards in hand. So that's 5 instances in which the agent is either mildly or moderately injured. And so far, out of all, we've only had 1 site fail. We've had 6 successful ones up to this point. Let's do it again. Jonathan, is your target changing, or are you sticking with Pennock on this one?
I'm going to stick with Pennock.
All right, let's do it.
North Owens.
Guillaume, you're pulling some cards here.
Again.
And so, yeah, Pennock is completely hospitalized as a result of that. But again, site still failed. All right, nice one. Or no, sorry, site not failed. Site's still successful. That is.
I think with that team, no matter which agent you're sending to the hospital, the site will be successful, right?
Yeah.
So and this one is Detective Miles, so 1 CP.
So in this case, Jonathan, you would target a different agent for 1 damage.
I'd target Pendrell.
Yeah.
Okay, and he has 1. He receives 1 damage. Okay.
Right on. Let's do it again. Same target, Jonathan?
Yeah.
And lies within lies, 3 RP.
he'd take 3 damage on that one. He'd still be
and
able to
Panic is still standing at that point, and Sight
Yeah,
successful.
haven't done this a couple times, Stephen. I don't think 5 is unreasonable.
Yeah.
I think more than that, nobody's going to play.
Yeah. How about you, Guillaume? How do you feel after those 10 tests?
I feel like on a full team by himself, by itself, that adversary probably won't stop the investigation against a full team. I think against team of 2 or 3 agents, it might do the job. I say, it is a card that is like, for adversaries, sometimes it's tricky to play them because you have to have the right activators. But you're like, if the activator is correct, when you play the adversary, you say you know that you pay the cost, and unless your opponent negates it, you know that you are going to get an agent, at least one agent in the hospital. But with that card, I think you have to wait until you can play it on a result site, or have a card that allows you to have the right activators. And then once you finally have that, you play that card and you're still not sure what the results are going to be. So I feel like that's 2 conditions where that opponent could be sitting in your hand for a long time, and maybe you would just end up discarding it. So maybe we should, since there is a chance element, maybe we could just say the activator is agent, or maybe just increase the cost, or maybe keep the cost as it is, because as we've seen, like most of the time the agent is not sent to the hospital.
Okay. That is worth considering. Yeah, we went with result on this one because it the 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 Rhode Island site from the season 4 expansion has a result keyword on it, so that was my rationale for choosing it. Again, just trying to make sure the adversaries line up with the sites. But let's see, we have go ahead, Jonathan.
The Dark Angel's what, 8?
10.
That's
10.
the Dark Angel's cost, right?
It costs 10.
10.
Yes.
Okay. And this one is 5. Well, as we've seen, the Dark Angel can take out an entire team for 10.
Well, with the right combat card.
That's true, but it would, without that combat card, he would have taken out 3 agents. This one, at a maximum, takes out 1. Max. Can't take out more than 1. And you discard 1 card. That is the absolute max effect this card can have.
Yep. And in addition, you're getting that 1 discard, that 1 forced discard, which, again, in any other, like a bluff card, it would only cost 1 CP to get that 1 card discarded. And it's random. Like those 2 cards that I was mentioning, Dissolve in Evidence, Deceive and Flock, cards randomly discarded, just as it basically is in this case, because we don't know what card is getting flipped over. So it is thus random. So, all right. So looking at some of the activators. So I know we don't see the agent activator very often. If I'm correct, it's basically only on the John Barnett links you to Mulder adversary, which is insanely priced. I wouldn't. For what it can do, I still think 12 is pretty high.
It's also on the Louis Cardinal card.
Oh, that's true. That one's very inexpensive, actually.
And it's also, I think it's on the Eddie Van Blunt adversary card as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, good point.
If you look,
and that one is, I think, kind of a medium cost, if memory serves.
Isn't it like 6? I think
5 or 6 is what it came to mind, but yeah, 6 sounds right.
If you look at Manitou Stalks is right. That card costs 6. And
if it can survive long range, it's getting an agent.
Yes, it gets an agent, but not only gets an agent, they can't come back without a healing card.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't even as severe as that. So it shouldn't cost more. Or I don't think it should cost more or the same because Manitou's only going to get one agent. But it depending on your deck, you may not even be able to bring that agent back.
So I do want to also bring Dave Meyer's thoughts into this because he was also weighing in on this card earlier today, and he was one of the dissenter. Well, I say he's a dissenter. He's in the minority opinion that the cost of the card is inexpensive, and he actually did some trial runs on this himself. And so let me just read off what he says here. I would say just shuffle because I think what he was using was the shuffle on Yost's site. You know, when you do the cube effect. So
but I think for that, like Yoast did not include any rare or ultra rare cards, so that might be why the cost of those cards is fairly cheap.
Yeah, but the result though is gonna, if that's the case, let me just pull. The result may surprise you though. I would say just shuffle up a deck on the website. One that he was just suggesting that you can do that. And then just keep doing random starting hands and draws. That's another way to do it. So considering a lot of us run pretty expensive cards, just did it for my turn. He did it for his tournament deck. And pretty much hit a 75% 5+ cost on the cards. 75% of the times he did it, the cost was 5 or higher. And so 5 in one way or the other is going to get an agent sent to the hospital. He said he did it 20 times. It was only 20 or so draws. So about 20 times, he said about 75%. And here in this case, I mean, I was only noting how many times the agent got hospitalized, but it seemed like we were running to more instances in which the agent was just mildly wounded. We had 7 instances out of 10. 7 out of 10, an agent was only mildly wounded. Only 3 of those times was an agent actually hospitalized.
I'm kind of like
I
compare it to Manitou Strokes. I just keep going back to that. It's a 6.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty much, like you said, as long as you live through long range, you're guaranteeing somebody is going to the hospital.
And the effect in that event is very devastating.
Potentially.
As Guillaume experienced tonight.
Yeah. And that's for 6.
For 6, yeah.
The way I would look at it, Steve, if you're going to a particular site type, I think the cost is fine. If you're going to just make it a blanket agent activator, I think it's going to cost quite a bit more.
So I want to bring in another card for comparison because we could run through a lot of the adversaries and compare them. I don't want to throw in patented because it's just an extreme example that's an sickeningly inappropriate cost. I want to bring in the pusher card from the unreleased Scully expansion because this was actually a card that somewhat inspired the effect. So I think if anything, comparing it to the pusher card warrants discussion here. So the pusher card from the unreleased Scully expansion have a cost of 6. It has an agent activator. What do you know? So just agent for that one. So it's guaranteed to get played regardless of what site is getting investigated. So the effect for it says each combat round, and so this actually has some. The pusher card actually has some combat. It's got 3 long range, 2 close range, 4 health. So it is actually getting some combat in there. But in addition to what it's dealing out, each combat round, the controlling player of the team opposing pusher must choose odd or even. Flip over the top card from the bureau deck. If the card matches his guess, odd or even, continue combat as normal. If the guess is incorrect, pusher must allocate 1 agent's damage to any 1 target, including other agents. So here again, you are depending upon a matter of chance, in this case, depending on what the the cost of the card is. In this case of Pusher, he has 3 long range, so he's guaranteed, regardless of what the flipped card is, he is going to inflict 3 damage onto one agent on the other team. You're guaranteed 3, and if you have a team with like Hosting, Burke, you're going to be able to get a 3 health agent hospitalized as a result of Pusher. And in the event that the card that's flipped, depending on the cost of it, you're maybe going to get another agent to assign damage to another agent, and that is for a cost of 6. So it seems to me like Pusher's got a pretty high rate of at least getting 1 agent sent to the hospital. But again, it would have to be a 3 health agent or an agent that has already had some damage inflicted upon them prior to that. But we've seen some pretty we tend to use some pretty decent agents with 3 health, like Hosting and Burke. As I said, those are pretty good agents, and they have a health of 3, so they're getting hospitalized if Pusher does not get negated right out of the bat. So again, agent activator for Pusher, which is really making me lean in favor of Guillaume's suggestion of making this an agent activator card. I am liking that, Guillaume, because currently the Trepanning operative is suffering from the lack of a result or of anything other than a result keyword. So I do like the idea, and so I think we might be leaning towards that. But it does seem like the odds. I mean, we did 10 here, and in 70% of the cases, the agent was able to withstand the attack with some minor wounds, and only in 90% of the time, the site still got investigated.
So, do you think we should reduce the cost?
I'm definitely not in favor of raising it.
Oh, no.
Definitely not. Because with the case of Pusher, I know some might want to say, well, you're definitely getting a discard out of this. Sure, but you're getting that with Pusher as well. And that one
and
already cost
with
6.
Pusher, you're getting Pusher, you might be getting another discard depending on how many agents there are. Like you get a discard once per combat round.
Once per combat round, possibly 2. His health isn't much; it's 4. You might need some other combat cards to keep him in there, but that there is a possibility. There's a chance that he's evolutionary. You could play illusionary foe, and then there you go. The damage is negated. He gets to survive another round. So another card flip is going to happen in that case. Yeah. So Pusher's got a bit more of power to him compared to this one. So yeah, what are your feelings on the cost at this point? Definitely not increasing it, right?
No. Maybe
you're thinking 4 now?
Yeah, because it's 5. But I mean, with most adversaries, when you play the adversary, you know that you're going to at least be able to send 1 agent to the hospital. And there are some adversaries like Squeeze, like the Sandman, for instance. Granted, you have to play them on smaller teams, but they only cost 4. And so that means that you're paying the 4 and you're like, okay, I know that I can get that agent to the hospital. Yep. With that card, if you pay 5 and you're still not sure, I mean, you could send 1 agent, but you also might not be able to, and you still paid 5. So, I mean, since I like the chance element of that card, but maybe like it might be more fun to play as the conspiracy player if you're only paying 4 CP for it. Like, okay, I'm paying 4 CP. I might be getting good results. I might not. At least I got a discard. I did some damage to the agent. This might come in handy in a future round. But yeah,
because that is something worth considering when costing these cards. Because especially like you don't want a situation where you have a pretty cool card effect, but you're running into a situation where you're like, well, the odds aren't really great that I'm going to get anything out of this. Do I really want to spend 5 or 6 on a maybe. Just to, at the very least, you're guaranteed, unless it's negated, you're guaranteed one card getting discarded, and that's it. I mean, that's the only thing you're guaranteed. Damage enough to send an agent to the hospital, not a guarantee. As we saw, only 30% of the time on our 10. I mean, we could do another 10, but I'm comparing it to what you're getting from the pusher card. I'm very, very disinclined to increase the cost of the card, and I'm definitely inclined to give it that agent activator. No question there. So let's do that. If Jonathan ever gets back, I would, ask him to weigh in, but something tells me he might also be in favor of it. But we've got a whole community on Discord as well who are going to weigh in. But I think what we can do, Guillaume, is we can definitely run with the change to the agent activator for sure. And then, yeah, I think the four cost is appropriate. Dave, if you're watching, we gave it a try, man. I know you you did your tests as well, and I hadn't really fully considered what the pusher card could do compared to this one. So increasing the cost of this card to 6 to where it's the same cost as pusher, and there's no guarantee of an agent getting hospitalized, whereas pusher, you have a pretty good guarantee of that, and pusher's getting at least one discard, if not more, depending on whether he can survive another combat round. All of that you're getting for 6. And so we're not getting nearly that with this card. So, Jonathan, what we're looking at is, what's that?
And you can play pusher on any side.
Yep, and we're going to be able to do that with the Trepanning Operative as well, for sure. So how do you feel about with the agent activator thrown in and a 4 cost to it?
Well, I definitely think it makes it more likely to be played.
Make you more likely to play it, which, I mean, yeah, we don't want to make cards so desirable because they're all together inexpensive, but I think we've got a pretty strong case here for that based on the test that we did here.
I don't know that I would make it cheap. I don't know that I would make it cheaper, but I like the idea of just agent activator because
all right.
You still
think 5? You think 5 might be appropriate?
Yeah, five for conspiracy is not that expensive anyway. It's not a high cost. But you don't want it so cheap that everybody plays 2 of them every day.
Well, I mean, that doesn't stop us from. I mean, we have the luxury of putting 2 Patniks in our deck, and do we do it all the time? No, and I don't think this is going to be like this. Like the cost of the card is going to make it like an automatic. Will it be an automatic inclusion? I don't know. I would be interested to find out. But at least we know it's not going to be like a game changer card by any stretch.
And I like keeping 5. It makes you have to take more chance. Take a chance card. So I don't know. I like 5.
Okay. So for now, and we've had we can also have more in our Discord community weigh in. So Guillaume, let's definitely change the agent activator on that for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
And maybe we can also look at the cost of bluff cards that send an agent to the hospital. Like how much do those cost? And maybe that can give that gives you an idea of how much you're paying for something that you know is definitely going to happen versus paying for something that might happen or might not happen.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Well, yeah, we have Section Chief McGrath, costs 5, sends an agent to the hospital. It costs 4 if it's played face down. We have Injured Relative, same cost, 5, 4 if it's face down. Agent goes to the hospital. And lastly, we have Video Signal, cost 6, sends an agent to the hospital, just like Injured Relative, but it's 5 if played face down. So guaranteed, unless it's negated, to get an agent either in the hospital or in the bureau if it's McGrath. It's a fair point. And you're getting a discard on top of that.
Yeah.
And most times those other with cards, they send them to their respective place with no damage. Like with
they are undamaged. Yeah. So so some food for thought. Go ahead, Guillaume.
Yeah, I was going to without taking other cards in consideration, like would you be more inclined to use that card? Would you use that card if it costs 6 CP, 5 CP, or would you say, okay, I would definitely include it if it costs 4, but for 5, I'm not sure, it might not be worth it. Like without taking the cost of other cards into consideration, just for the effect alone, like
just for the effect. I would still be inclined to play it with a cost of 5. But this playtest, these 10 tests certainly showed that the chances of it working in my favor, not so much. So that would be.
I would definitely consider it with just the agent activator. If it had a particular side activator, no, I wouldn't. I'd just put something else. But the ability to play on any side, I'm kind of like, I might not knock it out of the park, but I might,
Yeah. It could be one of those situations where, yeah.
And also, I think.
Oh, go ahead, Guillaume.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, when you play adversaries, if your opponent has X in their hand, they're more than likely to negate the adversary with X. But with the trepanning operator, since there is that chance that the first card of the bureau deck might not inflict too much damage, maybe that the investigating player won't be as inclined to negate it, because you're like, maybe I might save my X for a more worthy adversary.
Yeah. I would probably do that. I would be like, I'm not gonna use a manners token to get rid of this guy. So I'd be like, let's play it out, because also I like the chance aspect of it too. It's kind of fun. It might also be a situation where I could see where it's like, okay, I've got it in my hand. Gosh, none of the other cards I have are going to stop this investigation, so I might as well just play it.
Yeah,
I could see that winding up being like a very recurring situation where it's not going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a crucial to stopping investigation when you've got all of your agents at the site. Probably not. And that happens more often than not.
It's a spectacular card if somebody sent just one agent to the site.
Yeah. And as we saw during the playtest, it's possible. Say that again?
Because then if you're going to investigate 2 sites, and you've got 1 or 2 agents going to a site, the spectacular cards for that. If it hits, because it doesn't matter what the site is, you can do it. You just hope you draw a card that knocks one of them out. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, that just brought up an interesting thing. What if it is 1 agent? Obviously, so if they draw a conspiracy card, no damage, nothing. Okay.
Yeah. So if you send an agent solo, there's a pretty good chance the agent's going to walk away from that. Without even having to lose a purple card on that.
Discard out of it.
Yeah.
But for 2 agents, if you got 2 agents going to a site, you've got 4 agents. Like I did. You send 2 to one thing, 2 to the other. If you can knock out one of those 2, you're almost guaranteed to stop whatever the investigation is. I
probably wouldn't even play the card on a site where just 1 agent is investigating, because I feel like that's just I feel like that's just, too risky on nothing happening.
Yeah.
So unless that's the only option you have.
Yeah. I mean, because Yeah, you know what? I take it back because that is the only because if you do take out that one agent, like if it's Mulder applying 4 alien to coastal Northwest Oregon, that card could actually get Mulder hospitalized. Granted, you would need to get a 5 cost card that is resource. So dang, if you flip a deep throat, it's like, oh, lost my deep throat,
man. Then you really get the double whammy.
But I got Mulder out of there. So yeah, yeah, it's one of the and this is for anyone who's tuning is like, yes, this is where we could go round and round and round and round on the cost of the card and still not wind up satisfying resolution for it. But I think we did all reach a consensus on the activator, so at least that in itself was a productive. That was what made this all productive. So do appreciate you guys weighing in on that. And then this is again only one of 15 cards that's going to get included in the season 4 expansion. It's the only adversary that's getting included in there, of course, but there's some other great cards that are going to come out with this re-release of the season 4 expansion. So if all goes well, by the end of 2025, we should have not 1 but 2 new releases. This re-release of season 4 and the season 5 expansion. I'm hoping we're not still play testing this come December. I hope
it's up to you, Steven, because every time we play a new playtest game, you say, like, when it was playtest 10, you said, well, 10 more, and then when it's playtest 12, you say, well, 12 more, and now it's 16, and you're like, well, maybe 14 or 15 more. So
15 more.
Well, here's the thing. In the last 3 games, Guillaume, of which you were a part of all 3 of them, we did not find any changes to be made in it, which I don't know if I should take that to mean that at least that it's what we have at this point. We found all the changes that need to be. I'm disinclined to think that because there are some certain cards that we are still waiting to see get played, and they're just not getting played because the circumstances are just not proving viable for them in that particular moment. So that's why I'm kind of like, well, we're still not seeing certain cards, so we got to keep it going. We got to see that psychotherapist card get played at some point. At some point, we got to see that card get played. So behavioral heavy next time. Yeah, you guys both added it. So, but again, it just your teams were not like heavy on behavioral, and ergo your sites weren't going to be heavy on behavioral.
I had 2 of that season of that Scully set bluff that allows you to play the adversary. So
good call.
That was, I was like either multi-site or I can play that like I did for the Dark Angel. Although I only did that to decrease the cost of the Dark Angel, but
nice.
Or you could have like the D-Handy Valets card that would have allowed me to play it for free, ignoring activator requirements.
Yep.
So and I think in order to do that, you have to focus on one type of adversary.
Yes. And also there's the one bluff, not manipulating the circumstances, which covers every adversary under the sun. But then there's the occult specific one, which is not drag the lake, not sewers, not... It's lightning. No, lightning strikes is evolutionary. What's the one I'm forgetting, Guillaume?
I don't know.
Drag the lake.
I never play them because I'd rather use 2 manipulating the circumstances, which are good for.
Oh, it's 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. Is it 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬?
No, 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 is an event.
That's an event. Gosh, come on, big brain this.
So the occult one.
It's a cult.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't make any sense. Occult is sewers from the host.
Oh, it is. Host is evolutionary. That's why I was. It's evolutionary in that the X-Files evolutionary, the adversaries evolutionary. It's all evolutionary. Why is it a cult? That's why I was getting fooled on that one. There's no reason the host is a cult. There was nothing occulty about that episode.
No, absolutely not.
Dang. Come on.
They had other choices in season 3, but
yeah, I mean they had freaking Tessodos Bichos, for instance. Not a great episode, but I mean, yeah. And if they're going back to season 2 and using the host, I mean, yeah, you could have gone to any of the more occult heavy episodes like 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, which we saw played quite frequently, cards from that episode tonight. But yeah, so you could put that card in there. You could put sewers, 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. You could put manipulating the circumstances. If you're focusing on one adversary in your deck, like you guys were doing tonight, that is quality deck building right there, and that is going to best ensure that you're going to be able to make that happen when you're narrowing your conspiracy cards. I know a lot of people want to be like, well, I got to put one of this adversary in there, I got to put one of this adversary in there, I got to put one of it to try to cover all your bases. It's just going to make the deck larger, and it's going to make the odds of the stars aligning and the right way to make that play possible even less of a possibility. Narrow focus. Just when it comes to the adversaries, just focus on one attribute or affiliation or just one effect. If you want to just do like the ones that only do subterfuge or only do martial arts, just pick one. It's the best deck building tip I can give you with regards to the conspiracy cards, because you still got to include all those other staples like unexplainable time loss, computer access denied, authorized access only, and all those other events and bluffs that are going to help you get out of those jams. You know, you want to throw your Detective Thompsons and your laser barriers in there. You want to make room for those as well, because those are your bluffs and event cards that are likely to get you through that round, more likely than an adversary, because it always seems like there's an X lurking around, at least, especially when you're playing a game with Jonathan. It seems like there's never an X too far away. Oh my gosh.
I didn't even use because I didn't have enough RP.
Yeah.
And they're in the deck.
But anyway, well, the playtests carry on. But I, like Guillaume had made, as Guillaume said earlier, I don't want to like playtest until I'm collecting Social Security. I do want to wrap it up before the year is out, for sure. I don't want to be still playtesting by the end of the year. I'd like to have playtesting done before summer is done. And then
I think it would be nice. That would then give us time to review the final cards, and then maybe say by September, September, October, people could order them, which means that
we want to do a print run of them, just like one print run, because I'm telling you, when I get those cards in hand and my eyes start looking over them, I start to find a lot of things I missed. I don't think that's going to be the case, because Guillaume, you've got a very keen eyes as well, and we got a whole bunch of people in our community who are reviewing them, so I'm pretty sure that's not going to be the case. But then again, Guillaume, just today, you found a typo in one of those season 4 cards. It's very minor, very, very minor, but dang, did we review those cards over and over and over again, and some little things slip by. It was an apostrophe. It was something very minor, but it's forever marred as a result of that. So anyway, we're gonna try to wrap up playtesting during the summer, finalize all the cards, apply all the changes that came as a result of the playtesting, which is a lot already. We did find a lot of things that needed to be changed. We're going to do that. We're going to review them all again. We're going to do a print run, review them again. And then, yes, sometime in the fall, we should hopefully be able to say, hey, season 5 is out there, ready to be ordered. And hopefully by that time, too, people are also going to have some brand new second edition season 4 cards in their possession. Maybe Jonathan will pick up 3 of those like he just did. 3 sets of first edition, 3 sets of Blackwood that he just ordered from Dax this week. 6 bricks of cards coming your way, Jonathan, as of right now. Congratulations on that, sir, and thank you, of course. Can't wait to see some of that. We'll get some more season 4 games. We'll get some Fight the Future games going on once those cards are in hand. So that'll be exciting. All right, guys. It is coming up on 1 o'clock, and I got works tomorrow. So again, I want to thank you both. Thank you so much for availing your time. It was
by the way, my X-File was the Spore.
Oh yeah, Volcanic Spore, Primordial.
Before I put it away.
Right on. Excellent. And that ties a little bow onto this episode. And I want to thank everyone who was tuning in tonight. And thank you for subscribing. I've got a couple new subscribers tonight, so I do appreciate those. I'm betting at least one of them was, I think one of them was probably one of the ones who was rooting for Guillaume and not you, Jonathan. So I do thank if you're still watching. So yes, please keep subscribing. It's it really does go a long way. And yes, please keep tuning in because we've got more gameplay coming right up, more play tests, more classic X-Files CCG, more everything. And I really, really want to try a multiplayer game. I've really been thinking about it, and I know Jonathan, I know you want to see it happen. So I think we're going to be maybe looking at doing a multiplayer game in the near future. It's going to be crazy with the camera work on here. It's not going to be great. The camera's going to be small, but hey, everyone who's tuning in, watch it on the big screen when we do that. But I want to see that multiplayer game happen. I think that's going to be quite an event. Don't you think, Guillaume?
Oh yeah, would love to be in on that.
All right. Well, I've got Jonathan, I've got Guillaume, and I've got myself. That's more than 2. So that constitutes multiplayer. Let's look at
There you go.
let's look to it, gentlemen. Let's make it happen. I think we'll get a lot of interest in that. I think a lot of people want to see a multiplayer game happen at least at some point. I want to see those 3 multiplayer cards get played.
Yeah.
At some point in the life of this channel, I want to see those multiplayer cards get used because they are commons and they show up way too frequently when we're opening sealed
Every
decks.
time.
Every time.
Every time. For a seal.
Those should have been uncommon at least, if not rare, because damn, they do not get used. They are waste of space.
Oh, they should have been like you get a primary effect and then you get a secondary alternate effect. Like in a multiplayer game, in addition, in a multiplayer game, you can do that.
There you go. That would have been wise. Maybe we should do a multiplayer card, but it would be like that.
I think we could to see how good or how interesting a multiplayer game is, and depending on how it goes, like if you're saying okay, it's a lot of fun and people might want to do that, we could include cards like that in future expansions. And if it's a waste of time, then no need to waste space on card and just use the effect for something else.
I'll tell you, when we were inching closer to the 100th episode on this channel, that was what I was initially thinking it was going to be until I was able to get Dave May scheduled to do a game. And I'm like, multiplayer game or Dave May game to ring in the 100th episode? There was no question I was going with Dave May on that because that man is very busy. And so the fact that I was finally able to find a time that fit with his schedule was nothing short of a miracle. So, but we're not going to wait till episode 200 to do the multiplayer game. It is going to happen pretty soon. So we'll make it happen. Heck, maybe we'll do a playtest multiplayer game. There you go.
Yeah.
So we've got 10 playtesters, so we could do that.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
More chances to see season 5 cards being played. So that might be the way to go.
Let's do that. But we'll do a classic multiplayer game with just the classic cards, I think, for the first foray, and then we'll look at doing some multiplayer games with the fan-made stuff thrown in. So we'll pace ourselves, but we're going to do that in the near future. So if you like that idea, please be sure to mention that in the comments, and we'll drop a date for that as soon as we're able to sync up our schedules once again. But in the meantime, thank you again for watching, and please be sure to tune in next time for another edition of Alien Investigations. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Unless you're Guillaume. Good morning.